I'm gonna start a business one more time by myself.
We were still sitting at a kitchen table at a home office.
Things going to be huge.
Million downloads, 10 million downloads, 100 million. Are you the guys who made hill climb racing?
The success almost destroyed our family.
I always wanted to create games since very early days of my life, and when I was 10 years old, I was learning programming. I was creating this rally game called Rally 1994, and I thought that the games are created by companies, not people. So when I had written there copyright Toni Fingersoft, I thought that's not right, and I need a company name. There was Microsoft, and derived from my last name, I thought, why not have Fingersoft for me? And that's where the story of hill climb racing actually began. I created a lot of freeware games in the beginning. We founded a company called Pixelane, and we decided that, okay, let's make a PlayStation game. Actually, PlayStation 3 game it was, called Rust Buccaneers. And that product failed miserably, which was, of course, the bankrupt for the whole company, basically. So it was not a business. I was basically totally broke. I was thinking like, should I go work a job somewhere or what should I do? I decided I'm gonna be still an entrepreneur, but this time I'm gonna start a business one more time by myself. I'm gonna use the Fingersoft name again from my childhood, and that eventually became hill climb racing. Well, I wanted to create an Android game in the beginning, and I was creating this project titled Bubble Shooter. And well, I never actually got to a stage where I created a kind of bubble shooter. Instead, I went with physics. I needed some sound effects for the cars. And what's the easiest way to make them quickly? Well, microphone on the table, and then you make that loop, and then the turbo sound. So simple, and it actually worked well enough for the game. I had created the hill climb racing Android version by myself, and then a lot of customer requests started flowing in that it would be really good if the game was available on iPhones also. And at that time, and still today, I can't code for Apple devices, so I had to call my good friend Teemu and ask him that you should come and help me make this game for Apple devices.
I believe I was still at work. A steady job, good income, and not too much stress. We had been chatting a lot with Toni, but then he called me and made an offer that I couldn't refuse.
I will promise you 2 months worth of salary, but after that it all depends how the game goes.
That's definitely was enough for me to get back into the games.
So Teemu was having a steady, stable job at that point of time, and he still decided to take the risk with me on hill climb racing. Well, maybe he believed that this is going to be a successful thing.
To be honest, I wasn't sure that this is gonna be the hit, but you know, we're gonna figure something out. The work that Toni was doing, and he was working on these camera apps and cross promotion, and I could see that that thing was working. So cross promotion essentially is showing hill climb racing ad in your other apps. And for some reason, not too many companies were doing it at the time. I would go as far as to say that having that cross-promotion power was the key factor driving so many users to hill climb racing and enabling us to be at this level.
In the beginning with the Apple version and Android version, we were working together with Teemu from my apartment, from a single bedroom.
iOS users were asking, why are we missing out? Why don't you serve us?
We actually spent half of the day just answering our customer emails and contacts, and then half of the day we actually developed the game itself. And at that point it became quite clear that we need someone to handle all the customer support, and that's when my fiancée Pia joined the company.
Toni and Teemu need my help. They were spending 5 hours a day reading emails, and I was the one who started reading them all.
Pia was actually the first one to draw Bill Newton.
Actually, Toni had like first vision how the build should like, and then I was like, yeah, we can use that one, so we need to make a little bit better version of that. We need a guy who's living in a countryside, farmer or something like that.
This is what she came up with. Car, and even the driver is the Bill Newton's first version is here. So
first there was a cigarette in the mouth. We figured out that Google doesn't like if we use that one, so we put the straw in Bill's mouth.
Hill climb racing neck flip almost had a terrible name. I wanted to call it suicide flip. Teemu was the wise guy who realized that, well, maybe we shouldn't call this a suicide flip. Let's make it neck flip.
I remember Toni kind of joking that, can you imagine that this game would be like €1 million worth of money? And I was saying like, let's not get our hopes too high. Like, this looks pretty crappy, to be honest. Great gameplay, but let's build on top of that.
We published the game in September 2012, and we got the Apple version out there before Christmas, and it was a great success.
I was really bored. I was working as a night shift security guard. Then I found hill climb racing. Every break, every quiet moment, I would just drive.
Hill climb racing captivated me so much because of the simplicity of the game, the graphics, the idea, and the most important, the physics. It is so unique.
It's really rare to play something that feels so good, so juicy. The physics of the cars, the wheels, how they bounce. After playing the game, I would like dream of the physics. I even wanted to make my own game. I wanted to make a similar game. I thought, how hard can it be? Yeah, I tried. I had this prototype, a moon driver. I tried to make similar kind of driving feel, but it wasn't even near there. I don't know, like, what did Toni do? How did he do it?
I took the goal of having 1 million downloads in the beginning, that this will happen with the game, and Teemu was more calmly like, okay, let's see where it goes. And
of course, we were looking at how many installs we're getting for hill climb racing, like through our statistics. And
it was really unrealistic feeling when we were looking at the downloads, pressing F5 and looking what's coming. After a few million downloads, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be something.
every day there's more downloads per day, and it's increasing day by day, and then it's suddenly even million downloads, but then it's 10 million downloads, and then even become 100 million.
we did an update, more content, and people would just keep playing and playing, and that's when we figured out that this game might live longer than just a couple of months.
It was a really, really powerful sensation when you realize that it's top 1 spot in the US. And it's like, oh man, this is like something that every game developer wishes to see.
I realized that things going to be huge. Our life will never be the same.
First time we realized that the game is actually a global thing. So we were in Miami with Teemu in the airport, and there were like 3-4 soldiers, US soldiers. Why are those soldiers coming towards us? They were actually coming because they saw our t-shirts which read Hill Climb Racing. Like, what are these t-shirts? And then we were like, we created the game. And they were like, really? Are you the guys who made Hill Climb Racing? And they were fans of the game. So yeah, that's like, that proved us like it's a global phenomenon.
When you get tens of millions of installs, then there's a lot of people who love the game.
It was like, I don't know, 2,000 plus something emails unread. And it was like, when we made update, the customers were instantly sending emails and feedback. That was great, or that was too bad.
It was quite confusing. We tried to pick up the ones that how to develop the game.
There was a huge glitch when we made the moon level.
I wrote a bug on iOS and it took a lot of time to fix it.
I remember I was playing the game a lot. The moon level, the one place where you go to get coins, you do stunts, you get basically infinite airtime. It felt like a secret. It was like this cheat that I was telling my friends, like, hey, you should play the moon level. And then this update came out. Suddenly, you don't get that much. You don't get anything. I was pissed. We were pissed. All the fans were enraged.
We never kind of imagined this to be such a huge business, at least not so fast. So kind of figuring out where to go next at the same time as we're making updates for the game was kind of crazy.
What making Moon Level taught us, not every mistake is a really mistake. The people response tell us that they love it and they are following like every step we make.
It's good Hill Climb Racing fixed it, because otherwise...
So the moment Hill Climb Racing hit 10 million installs, we were still there sitting at a kitchen table at a home office, and we were figuring out that what the hell are we doing here? We should have a proper office.
And that time we were looking house for me and Toni. We came to look this house in Kempele. We were thinking that, well, it's a big house, it's a big garage, it could be like our family home.
I think it was I who spotted this nice home for them that should meet their specifications. And I don't know, we were like so together back then that all three of us went together to look for a home for them.
But when we got into the building, we were instantly like,
No, this doesn't look house, but this could be really good office.
so we bought a house and we started growing the company there.
Oh, my first day at Fingersoft, I came here, I rang the doorbell and it was opened. I realized they have gotten this house to be their place where they develop the games. And I was really like impressed that wow, these guys have probably like made huge success with the game. I had no idea.
There were maybe 20 to 30 people working in a family house. A lot of tech company amenities here with the soda fridges and jacuzzis. There were quite a few garages also here, so actual cars were also present. Not maybe the most typical office, but maybe even compared to the garages of Silicon Valley.
We had a really strict practice of recruitment, so we used to play a game of pool with them and talk casually and figure out if we have synergies and if this thing works out.
We talked, we played a bit of pool, and later on they told me that welcome to the company.
Most memorable meeting of Hill Climb Racing was Toni had been crammed up all day inside and I was waiting for him. Then when my turn came, then Toni just said like, do you mind if we take this meeting in a hot tub? And I definitely didn't mind.
Doing business in a detached house was a lifestyle of its own for us.
We had parties, we were still young.
Hill Climb Racing parties were legendary, talk of the town.
We had a jacuzzi there, sauna nights, people were drinking, but we were also very busy doing our work. So we were hard at work and we were also partying hard after that.
You were actually a little scared to come out in the morning in the office. You didn't know what to expect when you were opening the door.
Sometimes, since it's a home office, it was pretty convenient to maybe also sleep overnight here. So
yeah, and this is how we roll for the most part. We don't have any strict rules or guidelines with these, but people are expected to do their hardest and then also play the hardest.
In the beginning it might feel like it's a nice way to live your life, but when you spend a while doing that, it's not actually that easy. It's quite the opposite. It's consuming. But we still made a lot of things happen during those days. So
The success of Hill Climb Racing almost destroyed our family.
when I originally made Hill Climb Racing, I was already quite tired after failing the two companies and everything. And when Hill Climb Racing came out, it's like it gave me a huge boost of energy. Like, this is the opportunity of your life. Use it well. I did. Several years I was working really hard, and everyone around me was also like, they were really into it.
After working many years, like 24/7, then there will be a day when you don't wake up in the morning. And that happened to Toni. I remember the day when Toni came back from work and he was laying on the bed and tell me that I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. I didn't call hospital or anything. I called Teemu, and Teemu came and took Toni to hospital. There was many early signs of burnouts that we didn't respond early enough.
The lifestyle we were actually living it's probably not how we should spend our lives. One day I realized that I was pretty deep myself in the burnout process. So I just came to the office and I asked Teemu to come speak with me, and I asked him like, Teemu, would you like to be the CEO of the company? And Teemu is like, okay, when? And I was like, now.
I knew that I'm not fit to be a CEO, especially in a bigger company or something, but also we were not trying to be any typical kind of company, so that was kind of maybe giving me some hope that I could try that.
Teemu became the CEO, and that was all because I was basically totally in a situation that I couldn't just work anymore. I couldn't.
When you're passionately working something, it's really hard to limit yourself, but you need to take time to heal yourself.
The leap that I had to make is kind of figuring out that you can be contributing to get great games also by just making sure that the environment is good for other developers to create those great games. So that was difficult for me, but I was able to make it. We were expecting Hill Climb Racing 1 to be just a short-lived game and then we move on to the next one, but it didn't turn out that way. Our fans just keep playing, and of course it makes sense for us to keep serving them. Our players were asking for multiplayer, and we were figuring out how are we going to do this on the mobile. One of our programmers just made this prototype having ghosts that you want to beat, and then not just your own ghosts, but like from other players. And we got hooked on that. Like we were playing it all the time, trying to just beat our colleagues' time, and that's pretty much where Hill Climb Racing 2 started.
Maybe the secret to Hill Climb Racing 2's design was the Mango Monday, where we squeezed all the design ideas from the past week after a weekend through this Mango, and only the best ideas survived. I think as a game developer you need to learn pretty quickly that a lot of your ideas are not so great as they feel in your own head. And it's your team and your colleagues and ultimately the players who are the best way of finding out if those ideas are good or bad.
So I remember doing these focus groups test with Hill Climb Racing 2, and our artists, they decided that they're going to go to schools and ask our players, what do you like?
We did 10 different variations of the character and the art style. We showed those different kind of variations to the kids. We were really happy because the kids kind of chose the versions that at least me and the other artists in the team were really excited about.
Up until the focus groups, we used to think that we were making a racing game, but the kids said that this is an adventure game. Maybe that's where our adventure mode, the name, comes from.
My design philosophy for Bill was to find out everything essential and important in the original design and then translate it to the new game and the art style there. And it was a real big challenge because the first game is kind of like a little bit pixel artsy, a little bit retro. So you can't really tell for sure if this is super stylized type of game or does it actually try to be a bit realistic but in retro style. And I really wanted him to have like a big red nose and like a big mullet. Some people really liked that, okay, this looks good and it pops out from the screen. Some people were like, okay, is this like over the top? But I knew that the game will be played on a really small screen on your phone, so those details do really need to pop, and those details are there. I'm happy that I fought for them.
So for the launch of Hill Climb Racing 2, we actually made a real version of the Hill Climber Mark II, and that was used in the launch video, and it was driving around the Kempele office lawn, and the lawn had to be redone after that.
First of all, we had a good support via cross-promotion from Hill Climb Racing 1. We had so many users that we kind of knew that we were going to be able to drive some installs, and we were expecting good numbers.
Quite a few of the fans were expecting that game, and it's always added pressure, but I take it in a good way. A lot of excitement also around that, but the reception absolutely blew us away. How many people actually came in and played it on the first days.
We were intensely at the office everyone was following the numbers, how many players we have currently in the game.
Honestly, we have been very professional about our backends. Like we had low stress tests and everything in place, and we thought we were prepared. But looking at the graphs just going higher and higher every day, like we were #1 at the download lists, I think, and then our servers just gave up.
Yeah, and I remember, I think we got to like 100,000 concurrent users in the first day or two, so it was like Hill Climb Racing took it quite fast in the beginning, much faster than one.
It's really beautiful to remember launching Hill Climb Racing with just the two of us, and then kind of launching Hill Climb Racing 2 with 27 people and everybody caring for the game just as much as we did when we were just the two of us. I think that was amazing. When we hit 20 and started finding new office spaces in the back rooms of this house, we were pretty sure that this is not gonna serve our needs any longer. So that's when we started figuring out that we're gonna have to find a new office.
Then we moved to a new office and we hired more people. At that point of time, I was more in the background, and then was handling the daily operations as the CEO of the company. And
My last big task was to moving company to the city of Oulu, and after that I started to step aside. It feels really unrealistic how big companies nowadays. Like I remember I was the number 3 and now it's like plus 100 people there.
I was a night shift security guard playing Hill Climb Racing 1, and now I'm leading the development of Hill Climb Racing 3. How did that happen? Yeah, I actually ended up in the game industry. I wanted to work with law or jurisdiction or something, but I wound up working in the publishing company of Fingersoft. From there, working on the Lego Hill Climb Adventures. And then suddenly, I'm basically leading Hill Climb Racing 3. First time I walked to the office, I was looking around, like, these are the developers, these are the guys who are making the magic. It was kind of scary, actually. Feeling like, do I really belong here? I was expecting these, like, godly figures, developers, geniuses, like writing physics formulas on the whiteboards. They were like just friendly, regular people with cool ideas. Of course, I wanted to figure out what is the secret sauce. What makes Hill Climb Racing feel so good to play? So the secret is, it's the physics, the suspension of the wheels, the turbo actually. It's the torque curve that makes it feel so smooth, and then combined with the proper mass distribution of the chassis and the wheels, you actually get this really nice pick up and momentum, and you can see the tires kind of bounce, and you get like, it just feels so juicy when you have that combination, you know. Hill Climb Racing fans are asking us, how the hell does it take 7 years to make Hill Climb Racing 3? Well, the first reason is just ambition. We don't want to make a game just for the money. We want to make a really good game for players for a long time to come.
The whole Hill Climb Racing 3 team was pretty much built with new recruits. The thought process behind it was that they are not limited by the past, and some bolder moves can be made with the sequel.
I was a huge fan myself of Hill Climb Racing, so I know what it feels like to be a fan and to want to get your voice heard.
We have so many fans who are making like fan theories of all the characters and vehicles. So we started writing our own backstories for the games and the world called Climb Canyon, where everything happens.
I think I personally love the introduction to Climb Canyon's characters. Not only Mr. Bill Newton, but also other characters that have come in.
So we've been cooking up, for example, experimental vehicles, all sorts of things that walk on legs instead of wheels, and levels that are constantly shifting and changing, and of course the real-time multiplayer.
We have introduced some gadgets that the player can use, opposing and defensive gadgets, also doing a backflip missile shot. That's also awesome. Once you nail it, you know.
I'm very excited to see there's a lot of new people and younger generations are creating new hill climb racing titles and everything. It's very exciting to see where the next generation is gonna take us.
I'm very trustful for the team, like all the stress and all the glory goes to the team. Whenever we launch a game, I think that's the most meaningful moment for us as game developers. That's why we are here, to make games and then get them to the players' hands.
We want to together make the most amazing hill climb racing game ever.
This sound was made by my mouth in my bedroom for hill climb racing, and it's now been heard all over the world because of hill climb racing with 2.5 billion downloads.
It's really hard to realize that test project of Toni, it's become like 2.5 billion downloads. It's something like, it's hard to realize.
But it's still less than the population of the Earth, so there's still a way to go.
A lot of things are based on luck, a lot of things are based on your passion. In the end, if you follow your passion, you will end up where you're supposed to be.
It's been such a long but intense journey that it's a crazy series of events. And
The main reason why we enjoy making games, it's to bring joy and pleasure for the people.
Seeing the reaction of the players and how they take the product to be their own.
I guess that's why I wanted to always be a developer since childhood also.
the passion to create games, that's a flame that you cannot just extinguish. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I said yes to that phone call.
I want to thank all the people who have played hill climb racing. It's like it enables us to create more better games.
They can make the cars jump and bounce and fly half the level and just break it. And that's where the real fun is.
You make the game.
Every feedback you give to us is valuable because then we understand what's happening in our games and we can improve them. So thank you everyone.
We're still just getting started.
I'm waiting a lot of new net flips coming.
I expect the next 13 years of neck flipping to be at least as fun or even more fun than it has been.
At Fingersoft, we think of our games like a family. Just because we have a new baby, Hill Climb Racing 3, doesn't mean we stop caring about the older ones. Hill Climb Racing 1 and 2 are still growing, and we are super proud to keep making them better for you every single day.
Currently we're working on some very, very interesting prototypes, and it's like crazy to see the spark in the eyes of our developers creating something new.
What I'm hoping for is the hill climb racing series gets developed further and improved all the time and new titles being released. And I also wish that Fingersoft creates maybe something new also at the same time. So I'm looking forward to what we can achieve with this great bunch of people.